LP Conroe, and worldwide on ilonestar.com.
Good afternoon. This is Dr. Carlos Sanchez with the Hispanic Chamber Connection radio show, and we're off. This is takeoff time, ladies and gentlemen, the time where you get the most information because you'll remember the most at the front part of the show. So here's what it is. This is a program that's designed and created for members of the Texas Gulf Coast Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. That is that every one of our members has the benefit of being on the radio at least once during their membership. And all you need to do if you're a member and you're listening is to just let me know. Let me know that you'd like to be on the program, and then we'll schedule you. We're about 2 months out in terms of waiting lists. So email me, but at the same time, please insist, because I tend to not necessarily respond right away to emails because I get over 100 emails a day. And by the time Wednesday comes around, like tomorrow, I'll have 200 or 300 emails. And it's really difficult to get back and to set appointments and things. So the best way to do this is either reach out to any one of the ambassadors of our chamber or Colleen Godot. Colleen Godot is our Director of Membership Services. Or catch me at a meeting when I have my calendar and just ask me if you have, Carlos, do you have your calendar with you? I'd like to set our radio time up, and then I'll do that with happily do it for you. So the program, like I said, is for your visibility. It's for you to be able to explain your business a little bit with a little bit more depth, for us to understand you a little better, and for us to really get to know the person behind the business card. So with that said, we want to welcome our guest today. That's Fred Huebel. He's the guy who does Aflac with our Chamber of Commerce, and he's a very well-known and well respected individual. Fred, thank you for being on the program.
Thank you, Dr. Carlos.
Yes, sir. So basically, the way we begin this program is just a couple of things that you saw today, Fred, and obviously you embody it. In our organization, our Chamber of Commerce, you don't have to be Hispanic to join. And I think a lot of folks make that mistake. They think, if I don't speak Spanish, I can't go to this thing, and I've got to be Hispanic to be a part of it. And it really is not that way. I mean, you saw that maybe about 30 to 40% of the people there today, if that, are Hispanic.
Yes, sir. I've had several people ask me if that was a requirement to join the Hispanic Chamber. And of course, our answer is always no.
And because it's not about the Hispanic part, the exclusive part, it's about the marketing part. If you want part of a market that maybe you don't reach in other organizations, we specialize in the Hispanic market, right? So that's kind of what this is that we give you access to people who are not necessarily in the general market.
Right. And it's a very good fit for my type of services that we offer.
Yeah. So that's kind of what that is. So if you're listening and you're thinking, okay, should I become a part of this thing or not? Well, you can, because you don't need to speak Spanish. Although if you do and you understand soccer, then you'll be right in with a lot of us who are watching these games and having a heart attack every time people get close to the goal. So or you can just be a guy that doesn't do any of that. And all people are welcome, and we're very thankful that you're a part of our organization if you're either or. Okay, so a couple things. We just had an event right now. We had about 40 people at Spring Creek Barbecue right here on was it 242 and 45 in Shenandoah, basically. Spring Creek Barbecue.
Woodlands Parkway.
Yeah, there you go. That's what it is. That's not 242. And so we that's the kind of networking we do. And Fred, have you found that this form of networking is different from other organizations that you've gone to?
Yes, because it's much more focused on trying to get business for the other participants at the meetings, and not so social, but also beneficial to the business itself.
And we try to, and it's weird because even with that, even when I state the intention at the beginning, this is what we're here to do, this is how it works, there are folks that basically don't show up to do that. They don't show up to do business. They show up, because they like it. When you're in a social environment, rejection it doesn't happen because you're being social. You're not being intentional to try to get business. Nobody can say no to you. And so there are a lot of folks that show up with that intention of I just want to be a nice person type thing. But the problem is, and I've experienced this, is that the more you have that non-intention of business, the more you show up back to your office with no business cards or with no business, And so we facilitate that because I know that people join our organization with the intent of doing business. It's why they join.
Yeah, certainly we all know that time is money,
Mm-hmm.
and the time spent networking
Mm-hmm.
needs to result in some type of business connections if
Something.
possible, right?
And we tell our members this. So anybody that's listening, if you guys are not getting the results you're looking for, please let me know, because I will absolutely take action to help you get the business you want. And we'll do, I've done business coaching for 20 years and facilitation and all this other stuff. So I'm happy to implement whatever things you need to help you do business, because I know that that's why you're joining this thing. It's not because we're trying to save the whales or that we're trying to reconstruct roads. I mean, there's other organizations that do that. I was just looking at Facebook. Our sister, they're not even a sister, the other Chamber of Commerce, the other Hispanic Chamber of Commerce that's in Houston, is meeting with the mayor right now, and they're meeting with all kinds of politicians and dignitaries to protest against the separation of families on the border. And I think that's a very important thing that they're doing. But it's not us. It's not the kind of organization we are. And plus, we're really far away. So if the mayor called me and said, I want a picture with you, I'd probably say I can't go because I have networking. I have business. So our philosophy is different. And so you always want to, if you're listening, you always want to find out what the philosophy is of the organization you're in before you even join, because if it has a wrong philosophy, if they're trying to do other things, then you're not going to get the business you're expecting. So that's why we act, that's why our meetings are what they are, even though, like we said, Fred, earlier, I mean, you get people there that show up and just, they don't listen. They don't have any intention of listening. They're just there to do their thing,
Well, the good thing about the chamber, though, Dr. Carlos, is that it is very supportive of all the members.
Mm-hmm.
So all the members go to the ribbon cuttings and other activities that you schedule.
Yes, sir.
So it is very good from that standpoint.
Well, let me tell you this. Okay, so just we had today. We had, of course, lunch like we do every Tuesday here in the Woodlands Conroe area. But tonight we have a thing called Latinas Without Borders, and a lot of folks don't know this. Latinas Without Borders came from a company I own called Leaders Without Borders. Leaders Without Borders came from another organization that I've worked with, which is Doctors Without Borders. So basically, I did a lot of work with international groups in doing training and speaking and things like that with them in preparation for them going overseas and working with other cultures, especially Latin American cultures. And so that's where the name came from. So when people ask me, why do you call it Latinas Without Borders? It's really because I even wrote a book called Leaders Without Borders. So that's kind of where that came from. Anyway, it's a group of our women's success group. They're meeting tonight at 5:30 at Brio here in the Woodlands. And it's about 25, 30 women show up to that. And all it is this basically, it's a success group. So they're not there to sell to each other. And they're not there to try to convince each other to, to do things. They're basically there to share and to that one is more of a social group. So it's because we understand, guys finished a meeting in the meeting we had today. I gave them a minute each and they took 30 seconds each. And they were done so fast. When it's all guys, it's very different than when it's all women. And we understand that. We appreciate that. Have you seen the difference, Fred?
Between the two, not really, but I have heard good feedback from all of the Latinas in the group who have gone to the meetings.
Sure.
And it's educational in addition to being social.
Yeah, and it's going to be, tonight we have Nara Alonso. Nara Alonso's with Wells Fargo Bank. She's an executive with their bank. She's also a chairman. So she's going to be speaking tonight on assertiveness. And so, yeah, it's an exciting event for them tonight. And I'll be there because I get to hold on to the door. And, as president, I have to introduce the people and do things like that. But then I don't stay for the meetings. I get to leave. That's tonight. Tomorrow's interesting. Tomorrow we have a breakfast at a place called Pro Optics Eye Care in the Galleria. Now, you've been there before, Fred.
Yes, I have.
Okay, so we'll be there tomorrow morning. Interesting because, it's raining and it's Galleria and it's 8 a.m. So all those characteristics are going to make it for a fun ride, I should probably get a hotel out there tomorrow morning or tonight because I'm going to leave my house probably at 5:30 in the morning to get there by 8.
Well, fortunately, the breakfast goes from 8 to 10.
But I have to be there. So. I'm presiding. But, and a lot of our members that are up here, they're not going, which is fine. I mean, I understand. We don't expect, guys, if you're listening, for all the listeners that are part of this Chamber of Commerce, we do not expect our members to attend every event because that'd be insane. None of them do. Right. I do because obviously the events that the Chamber of Commerce does, but we don't expect our members to. It's just way too much. It's too much intensity. We have 9 events this week, so it's very, very, very busy. And no, we don't expect it. So tomorrow we're in the Galleria. We take a lot of pictures for visibility's sake. And There will be plenty of pictures and people will see what's going on. So that's tomorrow morning for breakfast from 8 to 10. Then we zoom up I-10 over to Katy, Cape Cod Cafe Express tomorrow morning, tomorrow for lunch. We have a networking lunch there tomorrow. And with Chef David and his staff, they do a great job at Cape Cod Cafe. So that's in Katy on Mason. And so that's Wednesday. Yeah, tomorrow.
Yes.
Thursday, Tamagaucha, that's right there in the Galleria area. So it's a very basic setting. It's a luncheon, networking. Friday, we have our chairman-elect, Leonard Amel, who's also a sponsor of this program. He's going to be named and I guess officially declared. Our chairman. So he's going to be named chairman-elect tomorrow on Friday. That'll be a big event, people having lunch and all. So it's going to be a lot of fun.
Yes, and also a good networking event.
Absolutely. And Saturday we have two events very quickly. Ella Springs for breakfast. It'll be, not breakfast. It's actually a crawfish boil. Ella Springs, that's a senior living center. And then Redemption Roofing is doing something at 2 p.m. It's a very, very busy schedule. Guys, if you need more information, please contact me, text me, email me. Get a hold of me. I'll send you the email. So when we come back, we're going to learn a lot more about Fred Huebel,
yes,
Aflac, how they help folks. So please stay with us. We will be right back.
Lone Star Community Radio is looking for those who are interested in hosting their own talk show, with monthly and weekly slots available on Conroe's FM 104.5, 106.1, and on irlonestar.com. Start your own podcast, create your first YouTube channel, and be on TV. Contact Lone Star Community Radio online at irlonestar.com or call the message line at 936-647-3776 to take your first step into the radio world.
The Hispanic Chamber Connection is sponsored by the Amel Insurance Agency, located at 719 Sawdust Road, Suite 103, The Woodlands, Texas. The Amel Agency is a family-owned insurance agency that provides home, life, automobile, and umbrella insurance coverage. Since 2006, the Amel Agency has been a bilingual insurance service for businesses and private citizens in the Montgomery County area. For more information on the Amel Insurance Agency, please visit the Hispanic Chamber Connection at www.irlonestar.com/HCC. The Amel Insurance Agency is available by telephone at 832-525-5656 or online www.amelagency.com. The Amel Insurance Agency is a sponsor of this program, and the Hispanic Chamber Connection thanks you.
Lone Star Boxer Rescue is a nonprofit organization serving Montgomery County and surrounding areas, dedicated to the health and well-being of the boxer breed. Lone Star Boxer Rescue is run and managed 100% by volunteers since 1999. Our main objective is to rescue, rehabilitate, and rehome boxers that come to us from many sources, including local animal shelters, owner surrenders, and strays. For more information about Lone Star Boxer Rescue, visit our website at lsbr.org.
We're back. We are back. This is Dr. Carlos Sanchez with the Hispanic Chamber Connection radio show. You know, it's been a while since somebody said to me, Carlos, you have an accent. And I know I do, I guess. I'm not sure. I don't hear it. But it's not necessarily a Spanish accent. It's weird, you know. I did a lot of work, and I grew up, for example, in the Midwest, so like in Chicago and, you know, Indiana and et cetera. But then after that, I moved, you know, to San Antonio, then to the Virgin Islands, then I lived in Hawaii, then I lived in Los Angeles. So I've lived all over the country in different parts of the world. And so I guess my accent has picked up different parts because I don't think it's real specific. It's not easy to hear it as a Spanish accent.
You have a confluence of accents, but I think the Spanish is the predominant.
Somewhere, right? I mean, whatever it is, it doesn't matter, guys. We are having a good time here. So we want you to now it sounds really good. Whereas before it sounded funny. Fred, tell us a little about yourself so you can listen to it. tell us just basically what is Aflac and all that, please.
Okay, well, what Aflac is, first of all, what I am, I'm a independent insurance agent. I am licensed through the state of Texas, and I have a contract with Aflac to represent them as well. I'm also free to represent other companies, but Aflac is my main business. Aflac is a technology company that happens to sell insurance as well. And what that means is there's basically three legs to what Aflac does, and that's the people, the product, and technology, the platform. And so Aflac has what's called an Everwell internet platform that we use to collect the information about the businesses and the employees that work there. And so the administrators for each business is able to go online and see all the information about their employees and what type of coverages they have, what their dependents are, all that information. So it serves as a bit of an HR for those people in it, and it helps minimize the work that the companies have to do themselves. But of course, supplemental insurance is sometimes best described by what it's not. It's not medical insurance.
Okay.
So it does not pay hospitals and doctors. It's designed to pay the policyholders to help them pay deductibles, copays, and any other bills that they might have to pay. So if they get hurt or sick, they often will be missing a paycheck. A lot of labor type positions, for example, they don't get paid if they're not working. So what Aflac does is it helps fill in those holes, and then it provides a financial cushion for the policyholders.
Okay. Wow. And so with that then, because I always thought Aflac was insurance.
It is. They have, there's kind of two main products that we offer. One of them is some basic insurance policies, supplemental though, which means they're indemnity policies, which means that there's a schedule of benefits. So if it's an accident, there's 4 basic policies that we call the catch-all. And so there's an accident policy, hospitalization, short-term disability, and then like a critical illness, so like cancer, for example, right? And so they're designed, as we just said, to help the policyholders when they get sick. By you file a claim, and within 24 hours, they will deposit into your checking account the monies that are due, based on the type of illness or accident, and then also the type of procedures that you might have that go along with that. So we submit the bills, and the bills go to Aflac, and they pay very quickly. So it's designed to help you get through those tough times.
So let me ask you then, real quick, then, if you don't mind, Fred.
Yes,
tell us specifically, what kind of benefits does Aflac offer a small business owner, for instance?
Yeah, so there's many advantages to a small business, and that's what we do try to emphasize. First of all, the people side of Aflac are agents like myself. So we visit with the owners to try to identify any pain points or in particular areas that are of concern to them. Those areas of concern typically are in the areas, so in the Houston area, for example, 60% of businesses are interested in either remaining competitive in their industry or attracting and retaining employees. And so given those, the products that we offer help do that by increasing the benefit packages for the employees. And also...
Go ahead.
No, go ahead. And then the other side of it's not just product, but there's also value-added services that are available. And so those include things like telemedicine, fraud protection. There's a business. I mean, there's something that helps you negotiate your medical bills. There's 7 value-added services that a business is able to select that Aflac will provide for free if we are able to form a group. It takes 3 employees to form a group.
So let me ask you then, if I'm a business owner, I have 5 employees, and I have somewhat of a benefits package already for my employees, can Aflac still come in and help me? How would you help a business like mine if I was in those circumstances?
Yeah, there's really no coordination of benefits between anything that you have now. So if you have major medical, that's kudos to you because many businesses do not.
Okay.
But even if you do, you're still going to have some type of a deductible and a copay that has to be paid. And in addition, by having supplemental insurance that helps your employees, but we also will help you, if you don't have one already, set up a Section 125 cafeteria plan, which means the premiums for the policies that are being offered to your employees can be deducted before taxes. So that saves you having to pay FICA and unemployment tax on that portion of their salaries.
Very good. Okay, so there's definitely a way to save money that Aflac has that's competitive and that helps people.
Yes, definitely.
Helps employers. Could you talk a little bit more, Fred, about the part about when because I know Aflac is unusual in this case that if I get sick and I can't go to work, Aflac actually pays me a part of my salary. How does that work?
As long as you are on a qualified business.
Mm-hmm.
So short-term disability is not available to individuals, but it is to employees of businesses. And so, yes, it's very similar to the short-term and long-term disabilities that some businesses have. But what it does is it replaces up to 60% of your income if you so choose to choose that level of coverage.
And how quickly do they pay that?
Well, okay, so it begins paying. There's several options that you have, of course, but we usually recommend the 0-7 option, which means on accident, it starts paying on the first day of the accident. For illnesses, it starts paying after day 7.
Wow, okay.
On day 7.
Mm-hmm. So how long have you been doing Aflac, Fred? I mean, is this something that you've had for a little while now?
Not too very long. I've been doing this since October, so 7 months.
Mm-hmm.
Before that, I was a career in oil and gas in the engineering and project management.
So is that your background?
That is my background.
Okay.
Yes, I have a electrical engineering degree, and then I attended the University of Houston and obtained an MBA.
Very good. Okay, so this is something pretty much out of your comfort zone for sure. I mean, the whole sales process and the whole thing, even networking must be kind of unusual for you.
It is. It's unusual. It's not something that that I've done for the years, but I was attracted to it because I have enjoyed working with people.
Sure.
And so this is definitely something that involves a lot of people networking.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we get most of our business in 3 ways. One of them is referrals, another one is networking, and the third one is through prospecting, which means a lot of cold calling, walking through doors. And so, yes, it's something that you have to get adjusted to.
Sure. Well, especially that part, because you're so wide open to everything that comes with prospecting in that form. You know, I think that I mean, the fact that you guys can identify 3 forms of sources of business, I think is interesting, because everything in the end leads to networking. You know, it leads to relationship building. It leads to what you've been doing a lot of with our Chamber of Commerce, and that's just showing up. You know, it's just the fact that you show up helps everybody. Not only does it help our members, but it helps you even feel more comfortable with what you're doing. You know.
Yes. Well, as you always preach, Dr. Carlos, you know, you have to like someone before you do business with them.
Sure.
So it's important to show up and get to know everybody well, and then that leads to them wanting to do business with you.
Absolutely. And that's the bigger thing too, is, I mean, it's important that people like you. Then once you're making inroads because you've met with somebody and maybe you've helped them, it really matters that you actually ask for the business, that you actually say, let me look at what you're doing and see if I can help you. Because what happens without that call to action, it's a relationship. It basically, it becomes, you know, almost a social thing. But that intention is the difference, you know, and that's the bigger thing we tell our members too. Just, yes, you got to like each other, but come on, you know, you're all here to make a living. And so beyond with that too, you know?
I think for most of us, having a one-on-one meeting with a counterpart is important to learning about their business and what issues they have and what solutions you might be able to bring to the table.
I agree with you. And you know, and we'll talk about that when we come back, Fred, because there's a lot of other things like who's your best prospect and who can people actually refer you to that our listeners are probably interested in learning. So when we come back, we're talking with Fred Huebel. He is with Aflac, and we'll be right back. Please stay with us, and we'll see you in a bit.
Don't miss Lone Star Community Radio on TV and YouTube. Our talk show and music shows are featured on Our City TV, Suddenlink Channel 12, and have their own YouTube channel. Make sure to subscribe to keep up with posted shows and comment on them below the video.
The Hispanic Chamber Connection is sponsored by the Amel Insurance Agency, located at 719 Sawdust Road, Suite 103, The Woodlands, Texas. The Amel Agency is a family-owned insurance agency that provides home, life, automobile, and umbrella insurance coverage. Since 2006, the Amel Agency has been a bilingual insurance service for businesses and private citizens in the Montgomery County area. For more information on the Amel Insurance Agency, please visit the Hispanic Chamber Connection at www.irlonestar.com/HCC. The Amel Insurance Agency is available by telephone at 832-525-5656 or online www.amelagency.com. The Amel Insurance Agency is a sponsor of this program, and the Hispanic Chamber Connection thanks you.
Did you know there are more than 790 abused and neglected children currently in foster care in Montgomery County? Will you help make a difference? I'm Allie Stevens with Casa Child Advocates of Montgomery County. We train and support volunteers to be the voice of children in the foster care system. Kids are removed from their home because of abuse and neglect, and we need volunteers just like you to advocate for these children. To learn more about becoming an advocate, please visit CasaSpeaksForKids.com. That's CasaSpeaksForKids.com.
We're back. This is Dr. Carlos Sanchez with the Hispanic Chamber Connection radio show. Thank you for listening. You know, it's really interesting how we have such a variety of folks that come to the show. We've been now on the air now, thanks to the Amel Agency, for about a year. This has to be show number 50 or 60 something, and always an honor to speak to you through the air. But something that at least 90% of the folks that show up to the show have in common is that they all sell something. They're all out there doing something, and including people like, you know, the university that's come several times, or Lone Star College, etc. They're also always selling ideas, and they're doing something to promote ideas, right? And promote people's focus on them. And it boils down to, we were talking about this during the break, that it boils down to the activities that you do every day that sustain your business over time. You know, for example, what we tell our members always is that if you want to be successful, no matter what business you're in, including direct sales and, you know, Mary Kay, all these other things, it doesn't matter. Whatever you're doing, if you can develop the discipline to have a daily activity focused sort of morning, for instance, then your chances of success are very high, because over time that compounds. You know?
Yes.
And we're saying this, what we tell our members, and then I just had a meeting yesterday with this lady who just joined, and she said, you know, I want to be successful at the chamber. What do I need to do? I said, you need to meet 2 new people, brand new, that don't know you, every day. If you can meet 2 people every day, and you can tell them what you do and be clear and have a conversation with them, look at them in the eyes, this is what I do, 2 every day, in a period of time, a lot shorter than you believe, you'll start doing business. Because what will happen is that activity alone will generate enough momentum for you to start moving forward. The thing is, though, 2 people a day, Fred, like brand new people, that is the toughest thing you'll ever do.
Yes, because even at our, we have 3 meetings a week with the chamber, lunch meetings, and sometimes there's a new individual and sometimes there's not.
Right.
And as you said, the last meeting, everyone flocks to the new members because we all are interested in introducing ourselves to a new person, right, and getting to know them. So we want to encourage everyone who's listening to, you know, come to the meetings.
Absolutely.
Because everyone is going to be interested in meeting you.
Just don't tell them you're new. No, I'm kidding. It's okay if you tell them you're new. But the thing is this, you know, it's amazing because you're right. And somehow, and we do a good job of this. Like today we did a good job of it. And there's meetings where we do a great job of bringing people. And there's other meetings where it's just like, oh my God, it's just 2 people again. No, I'm kidding. You know, it's just, okay, nobody brought anyone new. To me, it's amazing that I know every one of our members that comes to our networking events, every one of them talks to business people every day. They know business people, yet they don't buy them lunch. They don't come to our meetings with their friends. Some do, you know, but it amazes me that we don't have more visitors. Because what happens is this, like you said, sometimes, you know, and I always look out for this because I want to make sure it doesn't happen. Whenever there's a visitor, everybody flocks to them and they make lines to try to talk to this person. I end up competing sometimes with members for the new person's or for the visitor's attention, and I can't do that. the chamber should never have to compete with its members for attention of visitors. There should be enough visitors always,
Well, I know, Dr. Carlos, that I have personally invited a number of individuals, business owners, and who have not started coming. And I think it's because they are very busy people.
Sure. Well,
and they're not at that point where they are able to delegate some of their activities so that they can make a little bit of free time to come out and network. But I think once they begin to value meeting all the other business owners that attend your meetings, then that will raise the priority.
That's part of it too. I'm thinking we have to do something, and this is part of our plans, is to do something virtual or to do something where someone who owns a business, let's say a printing company, who's up here in Conroe, for instance, and can't attend a meeting in the Woodlands, but can actually participate in the meeting virtually, maybe through a webinar type thing or something where they can see what's going on, get some of the information, maybe network a little bit. I think that's something that's of the future, because you're right. Very few business owners who are successful will say to you, "Okay, I'm gonna take 3 hours out of my day and drive all the way down to the Galleria to meet somebody." Maybe, they just won't give you that much time. So,
well, particularly the very small business owners, sole proprietors, et cetera, because they're so busy trying to generate income.
Absolutely.
A slightly larger business who might be able to hire someone to do some marketing. To participate in the meetings, or they can occasionally show up themselves. Like maybe they have a partner and they can trade off. Like, we see Dr. Malik do that.
Yes.
Then that works a little better for them.
True. And so does the ML. I mean, a lot of other members do. Like the ML agency does that, and several other members who have staff do that. So bottom line is that I know we're not for everyone. I mean, I would love for us to be for everyone, but sometimes it just is what it is. We do 30 events per month. If I do more events, I truly can't. I really can't sustain. I mean, as it is, it's pretty interesting how it works. But we are looking at doing some early morning things here in the Woodlands, because we don't have anything for early breakfast. Like tomorrow, we have something in downtown, the Galleria, doing something similar up here. It's just what happened is when we used to do something every other week, we would do something at a different restaurant when we first started the chamber. But then when we switched it over to lunch became so popular that very few people would go to the breakfast. And we thought, okay, maybe we should just focus on on lunch. But I'm thinking that there are people we're not capturing in the morning, early morning. Like I used to love doing from 7 to 9, because it's early, but it's early enough for you to get there, get out, and go to work. What never worked for us was the afternoon. That was always tough. If we do after hours, like happy hours or things like that, not in this part of town. They just don't do happy hour. It's just a different crowd.
I think if you did a 7 o'clock, you might have some conflicts with the BNI's chapters in the area, because they meet at 7:30 usually.
That's what we want.
Okay.
Because BNI members are part of our chamber, right? So, and that's fine. But the idea, though, is that it's good to have that kind of conflict. Choice is a very good thing. I don't mind doing meetings right on top of other people's meetings, except the Woodlands Chamber, because they always, if I want my meetings to not work, just do it when they're doing theirs. Nobody will show up. Although now we're big enough. A year ago, that was totally the case. I would always have to watch their calendar, because if they were having a meeting, most of our members belong to that other chamber, and they would not show up to mine. But now that's changed, But yeah, you're right. I mean, obviously we don't want to step over any bounds or anything like that, but there are none. See, we don't think like BNI does in terms of exclusivity. I think more in terms of loyalty, and in terms of a frequency of meetings and of people talking to each other. It's just a different philosophy. I used to be a BNI. I was telling that to the guys at the meeting. My former life was BNI. This chamber started in BNI, the Woodlands Winning Edge, one of the best BNIs out there, and lovely. I mean, 20, 30 people joined our chamber just because I was BNI. And so it's a wonderful organization. I totally support it. Do you belong to BNI?
I do not.
Oh, okay. I'm surprised. Wow.
Well, it's because of the time commitment.
Yeah.
I mean, it's very strict guidelines as to attendance.
Yes, sir.
And that's very difficult in my type of business anyway, where the client may want to meet at a particular time.
And not only that, after time, see, that's the thing. It's hard for people to say, okay, I know an Aflac guy. You know what I mean? You have to be the one introducing yourself to the public, because referrals and I've seen this because in BNI, we had one Aflac girl, and it was very difficult to refer her just because it's hard to do that way. Networking, you being the direct educator, I think is more effective than a lot of other things you do. So what kind of activities do you do every day, Fred, that put you in front of people?
Other than attending the chamber meetings, I usually, there are other network events that I attend, and including some in the evenings. There's a couple of in the Galleria area and in the city center area.
Really?
Yes. And those were, and if you want to, you can network all day, every day,
Absolutely.
I believe, by just going online and looking up networking in Houston area. But I get in front of people by prospecting, which means I either walk through doors or I pick up the phone and start calling.
Cold call.
Yes.
The dreaded phone cold call. So you do that then? Do you do it like every day, or are you?
Yeah, as you said, the discipline to do that is what drives new clients and your income. Sure. And so it's encouraged by everyone who's in the business that you block out time for that.
Yeah. And
you guard it jealously. I don't know if you ever read the book Fanatical Prospecting by Jeb Blunt, but it's quite good about giving some advice in areas like that. And if you don't do that, and it's easy not to, because it's much easier to be distracted and to spend time on things that you like to do, then you're pretty much guaranteed you're not going to be successful if you don't have the activity.
So okay. So Fanatical Prospecting by Blunt.
Jeb Blunt.
Jeb.
J-E-B.
Yes. Get these names. Jeb Blunt.
Yeah.
If you're listening, listen carefully. If you're not engaged in sustained, sort of consistent discipline every day, it is, as Fred has indicated, very likely that you'll be at my office telling me, Carlos, the chamber doesn't work. And I will ask you, what are you doing and what are you not doing? And that you'll find that the people that are consistent, that are doing this kind of work successfully, are doing it because they get it. It's not easy. By any means, it's not easy. It's simple. It's just get up and get the phone and call people. But it's not an easy activity to do. And because there's plenty of no and there's plenty of all kinds of other things. So one thing I wanted to ask you, Fred, if you don't mind, would you please tell our listeners about your background? What is what educational background do you have, sort of? Because you strike me as a guy who's more of an intellectual type guy.
My background is I attended Lamar University in Beaumont. I grew up in Port Arthur, Texas. And so Lamar University was the local college, and I received an electrical engineering degree there, and moved to Houston and worked in the engineering and construction business for 38 years.
Wow. Now,
after about 15, I moved into project management. I had attended the University of Houston in the evenings and obtained an MBA because I was more interested in management than in the engineering side.
Sure.
And so for the last 15 to 20 years, I was in project engineering and project management. And that's, to me, a lot more interesting. It's more based on the financial side, contracting, monitoring and reporting on progress of the projects.
Absolutely. So it's a little bit different. The skills it takes, there's also a little bit different than engineering, without question. Because you have to be, not only knowledgeable of the project, but also the implementation and the other things about to be able to advise leadership of the things that are going on with projects.
Right. So, it was a natural progression. You do engineering, you learn what's required, and then you can move into the management.
Yeah, you get out of the heat and go into the office. And
yeah, but you're a lot closer to the
that's true
management, and it's a lot different pressure.
Absolutely. So real quick, Fred, family, do you still have family with you right now?
Well, I have two daughters. They're 24 and 25. My youngest daughter got married and is living in Denver. She was here for Father's Day, though. That was nice of her. And then my older daughter is 26 years old. And actually, she just went to work at Planet Fitness, at the Planet Day Spa, through the chamber.
Wow, yeah.
You might remember that they came looking for
for a
manager.
One of the directors of marketing or something like that.
Well, they hired a new marketing director, but they also wanted an assistant manager at the store.
Good.
And just so happened my daughter had decided to leave the hotel industry and was a very, very good fit for her. And I think everybody's happy.
Planet Beach. All right. So we're talking to Fred Huebel. Fred is with Aflac. When we come back, we're going to learn more about prospecting and who Fred wants to talk to, who you can introduce him to, and everything else. So we'll be right back. Please stay with us.
A Lone Star Community Radio is Montgomery County's radio station with talk, music, weather, and traffic for Montgomery County. Have a question or comment about one of our shows? Want to know how to reach a host? Just contact the station at irlonestar.com or call in and leave a message at 936-647-3776. Get involved with your community with Lone Star Community Radio.
The Hispanic Chamber Connection is sponsored by EML Insurance Agency, located at 719 Sawdust Road, Suite 103, The Woodlands, Texas. The EML Agency is a family-owned insurance agency that provides home, life, automobile, and umbrella insurance coverage. Since 2006, the EML Agency has been a bilingual insurance service for businesses and private citizens in the Montgomery County area. For more information on the EML Insurance Agency, please visit the Hispanic Chamber Connection at www.irlonestar.com/HCC. The EML Insurance Agency is available by telephone at 832-525-5656 or online www.emelagency.com. The EML Insurance Agency is a sponsor of this program, and the Hispanic Chamber Connection thanks you.
Want to check out the fastest growing sport in the world? It's right here in Conroe, Texas, and it's roller derby. Conroe Roller Derby is a nonprofit recreational league of women and men who want you to come and check out the fast-paced, hard-hitting game of roller derby. The Conroe Cutthroats practice at Rainbow Roller Rink on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Sundays. You can find our game schedule and more information on our website, www.conroerollerderby.com.
We're back. This is Dr. Carlos Sanchez with the Hispanic Chamber Connection radio show. The big show. Guys, we're all over the place. So you'll see us on Facebook. This will remain on YouTube forever. We're also on podcasts, on public access television, 106.1, 104.5 on FM. Right now, I took a couple videos. They're going to go out to Facebook Live all over the place. So the biggest idea with all this radio stuff that we do is just to understand, as members, you have this as one of your benefits. And it helps you not only to focus your business, but it helps you have something on media that shows you as an expert. And that is very, very important, because that lets people know that you're serious about your business, that you are willing to get out on the radio and say some things about it. And it just makes you look more professional. So if you haven't been on this show and you'd like to be on the program, let me know. Let somebody at the chamber know. Any one of the ambassadors can take your name and give it to me, and we'll be happy to interview you. And like we said, it's all part of your membership. So please engage and let's get this thing done. So we're here with Fred Huebel. Fred is with Aflac. He's been talking to us about so many interesting things about what Aflac does and how the supplemental insurance part of Aflac is so important to anyone who, not only runs a business, but has concerns about their health and how to pay their bills and things like that. So Aflac has some wonderful programs. There's something else that you wanted to share, Fred. Go ahead and if there was something that you were looking at that you had on your mind.
Oh, I was just looking at my contact information. So you were saying, how can someone get in touch with me?
Yeah, please go ahead.
So what I just wanted to give my email address and my app. My email address is Fred_Huebel, Huebel at us.aflac.com, and Aflac is AFLAC. And then I've got an app that you can download by going online to Fred Huebel. That's FREDHUEBEL .cardtap CARDTAPP.me.
Now, what is that cardtap.me thing? Is it like a business card, or is it an app that sort of highlights your business, you specifically, or Aflac?
Okay, so it's designed for Aflac agents, but it is fixed for me, so that anyone that goes onto that app and downloads it, you'll see my photo, my contact information, but there are also some fairly standard tabs there to where you can get information about the various policies that are available and other information. You can even get quotations.
Wow.
So it makes it a very easy way to communicate with and get information about the supplemental insurance.
So we're here with Fred Huebel with Aflac. Fred, would you mind just telling our public, why would a small business owner want to do business with Aflac or with you? Just what is the biggest benefit that would drive them to want to call you? And then where can they call you?
The biggest benefit is that for almost no cost, it can be no cost to the business if they wish. They can get something that's going to benefit their business by increasing the attractiveness to good employees, and it helps them retain them. One of the biggest things that we hear is that a lot of small businesses will get good employees in and train them, and then those employees leave to start their own business.
Sure.
Or they leave to go down the road to a competitor who offers some better benefits.
So how could somebody reach you, Fred? Phone number.
Pardon?
A phone number.
My phone number is 832-366-3188. That's my cell number. And I encourage anyone who has any questions about insurance. And it's not just Aflac, because what we like to do is we like to be the consultant to the business. We have of course, we do a lot of networking, but we've got relationships with a lot of insurance brokers who can offer health, vision, dental, a lot of other items that are, important to the businesses, and a lot of different variations of health insurance as well. So we've got relationships with brokers who offer things like what are called MEC, medical plans. That's minimum essential care coverage, which is required under the Affordable Care Act. If you have 50 employees or more, you need to have some type of coverage, and it's a good, affordable way to provide that. So anyway, what we do is we work to try to help the businesses address their issues, whatever issues they might have.
Okay, and so the biggest one, like you said, is just the attractiveness of the business. Half of the members of our Chamber of Commerce, they probably quit a corporate job and now became their own business. They started their own business. So it's a pretty common trend that people will stop working for someone and just start doing their own thing. Or it's even worse in certain parts of industry, of business, for $1,000 or for $5,000 more a year, they're gone. They'll just go down the street to the competitor.
Yes. Or one thing that Aflac does is they have a third-party consultant who surveys a lot of thousands of small businesses yearly, and they put out what's called a workforce report.
Okay.
It's full of statistics about the owners, about the employees, but what they consistently show is that employees do consider benefits to be a big part of their decision making as to who they're going to work for, and they will often work for less money but with benefits.
Absolutely.
And then a lot of small business owners, when they get started, it's very difficult for them to afford
for themselves
business. So fortunately, many employees might have a spouse who's got some type of coverage, but they typically don't have supplemental insurance, which really helps out, as we were saying before, to cover the gaps that might be available through their spouse's insurance.
And that's what Aflac.
Yes. Now, Aflac also has life insurance. It's surprising how many people it's like the statistics say something like 30% of people don't have any life insurance.
Wow.
And so when we meet with these, one of the things we do is provide personal service. We meet with all the employees at the businesses and explain their benefits, not just whatever Aflac's bringing to the table, but what other benefits that the business might be offering to them. So we help them work through that and understand their choices and make a good choice that's in line with their particular circumstances and their budgets. But oftentimes they have no life insurance, and so the question is, well, what happens if they happen to have an accident? It's a big, huge financial burden on their family.
Big deal. Yeah.
So it's not expensive at all. Most of the coverages are like $8 to $10 a week, something like that.
So how do people get a hold of you, Fred? What was the number again, please?
832-366-3188.
3188. So 832-366-3188 to talk to Fred Huebel with Aflac. And you never know. The bigger thing here is just, if you're listening and if you're interested, to give this man a call, just to ask questions and find out, what they can do for you and how they can help your business. Who are your best prospects, Fred? I mean, who are the best people to talk to? Is there a certain demographic or a certain size?
Yes. Well, the thing is that in order to have a group within Aflac, you must have 3 participants. So that means we usually look for businesses that have from 3 to, let's say, 50 employees. It's kind of our sweet spot. When you get above that, then there's a lot of larger brokers, et cetera, who are trying to get the business.
Sure.
And it's also easier to get in touch with the business owners at the smaller ones. And that's the key to our business, is being able to sit with the decision maker and explain or find out about their business, learn about their issues, address their concerns, see if we can do that. And that's easier to do with the smaller businesses. But we also offer, particularly in the critical care, the line of like cancer care, that's often purchased by individuals who might have had some type of cancer, or they might have a family history. But that's one that's often more of an individual basis. But we really look to try to work with the business owners. And so even if there are like 3 people, if the business often will contribute or maybe provide one policy, so that assures that those 3 people will participate and form a group, then we can offer the discounted rates and the value-added services that we addressed earlier.
So you said 3 minimum.
Yes.
But you also work with individuals. But your sweet spot is 3 and above, up until 50. And after 50, of course, then Big Brother wants to get involved, and it's a lot harder to do business.
Yeah, well, I mean, we often do that. And there's I don't know, I think 650,000 businesses that Aflac does business with. But most of them are on the smaller side, because it's better for agents such as myself to be able to handle that. When they start getting large, as we said, we've got a lot more people involved and interested in it.
Yeah.
And also we have a corporate side who kind of comes in and will handle those deals. They take a lot longer to develop, for example.
Sure.
And for someone like myself, we're looking to try to establish
you have to make a living.
That's correct.
Well, because in corporations, I mean, the whole bureaucracy takes over, and different departments, and there's a lot more loops to jump through when it's a bigger organization.
I think there's something like 50,000 small businesses in Houston area, or maybe even more. And so it's
50,000.
Much easier for someone like myself. And by the way, I'd like to encourage anyone that's listening who might be interested in a career change and might be considering Aflac as a alternate business to contact one of the existing agents or our regional directors, because they're always looking to talk to people.
And that's something you don't mention. I mean, this is the first time you say it that I've heard you, but I know that there is a career in this. I mean, there is something, if you are interested in being an agent or in working with Aflac, then there is a possibility to do that. And it's just a matter of reaching out and finding out who the right people are to talk to.
Yes.
So, okay. So Fred, we have a couple minutes left. So tell us one more time then, how can people reach you, and who would be the best person for people to introduce you to, if you don't mind?
Okay. So I can be reached at my phone. The easiest way is to either text or call me at 832-366-3188. Can also be emailed at fred_Huebel@us.aflac.com is my email address. There are very many Aflac agents in the Houston area. I don't know how many, but it's a lot. So you can reach out and speak to anyone to answer your questions. I know certainly I'd be happy to answer any questions, and that's kind of what I like to do. I do like to educate and help people understand their options. Again, the kind of our target audience, our sweet spot is small businesses with 3 to 50 employees, and any individuals who also might be interested, particularly in the critical care aspects such as cancer policy.
Very good. So this is Fred Huebel. I'm Dr. Carlos Sanchez. Thank you for listening, and thank you for being on the program, Fred. Very interesting.
Thank you very much, Dr. Carlos.
So next week, we're going to have Newton Patel. Newton is with Heartland. They do credit card processing. They do a lot of other things, but she'll be here next week. Please tune in. This is Dr. Carlos Sanchez with the Hispanic Chamber Connection radio show saying thank you again. Have a great week, and we'll see you next week at 2 p.m. Thanks again.
Drop it in low, 4x4, second gear roll.